Coach, what have you been trying to get across to these guys? Anything in particular?
Yeah, so playing hard, playing together has been our two team spring goals. And then we've been really trying to establish relentless effort on the defense side of the ball. Really emphasizing takeaways at practice, some of the circuit drills we've been doing, some of the meetings, teaching exactly how to take the ball away, finishing on the ball when it's in the air, and then playing together. We call that shared commitment, brotherhood, connection, but just it's bigger than just me. It's it's all of us. So for us, that's really been the main emphasis so far this spring.
I guess you guys want to get back to forcing a lot of turnovers like y'all did a couple years ago.
Yes, sir. And, I think it starts with the relentless effort part. It starts with playing hard. And so we want people to turn on the film on Sundays when they're playing this, that next Saturday, and we want them to say, holy cow, like these guys, they play balls to the wall, like their hair's on fire. And so that's really, really what we're looking for right now. With each practice, can we improve that? Because that'll solve some mistakes sometimes, but more than that, when you're playing hard, turnovers will kind of come. More guys are around the ball, there's more guys for strip attempts, fumble attempts, sack attempts, and then tip balls now all of a sudden become picks. And so that's really been a huge emphasis for us.
Yeah, part of that relentless part, is that also the press man coverage that you are using? Does that play into that too? Trying to get back to that aggressive nature you had 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. We want to be able to get up in people's face and really challenge them at the line of scrimmage. And so I think that's something that we want to have as a tool in our bag. Is that going to be who we are all the time? I can't really tell you that right now. But I do think for us, it is an area that we want to improve on. We want to be tighter in coverage, and we want to, take away the windows, for the quarterback, and then hopefully we can apply some pressure, and now all of a sudden you get rush and coverage working together, and that's the shared commitment again.
Matt, from everyone we talked to, energetic always is the way to describe you. Like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
What goes on in your brain when you take the field?
Yeah, and then I do this interview, and you're like, where's all the energy at, right? No, I think everything counts and everything matters. And, it's been part of me for a long time. I'm very, very passionate about football, and whether that's in a meeting setting where we're talking football and I'm trying to get guys fired up about that day of practice or that week of the game. I think, Coach Aranda kind of said it today. He used an example about everything counting and everything mattering, and how there's an art to just about everything. And once you see it, right, you know it in more than one field. And I see meetings that way. I see, cut-ups that way. I see walkthroughs that way. I see practices that way. And I think for us as coaches, really hard if you don't bring energy, to get guys to play with relentless effort. And so, that's it's easy for me because I guess I'm passionate about it because I love it so much. I mean, best part of my day is when we hit the grass. And, sometimes there'll be a lot of things on your mind, but once you get out there, if you can be like what you're trying to get the players to do and just be 100 miles an hour, then, I think the result's going to be, you're going to like the result. So.
Matt, another thing that Coach talked about was really kind of bringing you on to establish that culture and get back to, the culture they're trying to bring here to Baylor. Is that important to you, too, coming out to this staff once again?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the culture is, it's a huge part of it, right? And all I can tell you is my experiences here, right? And I felt like that 21 season, the team culture was as good as I'd ever been around. And I know that we're working hard with this 23 team to build it in a similar manner. Built on the same principles, and I think there's a lot of things with this 23 team that resemble that team in certain ways. The youth would probably be a little bit of the difference, but I think we do have some key leaders. I think we have some older guys with experience that kind of help bridge that gap over time.
What's been the biggest obstacle kind of bridging that gap?
I think the biggest obstacle right, is the older guys, showing the younger guys the way. And sometimes when a new guy, right, he was a young guy. Now he's a sophomore, junior. Now he's an old guy, right, and now he needs to be a leader. It's being able to, call people up, when it's good, but then kind of call them out and bring them up, when it's, put them up when it's good, and then call them up when it's bad. And sometimes that can be a challenge for some of those guys. But we got some guys that are starting to get comfortable in doing that. And I think with, us trying to play together, work together, all those types of things, I think the young guys understand that it's not coming from a bad place, man. It's coming from, this dude really cares about me, right? This dude really wants me, to do good and succeed and make plays and be a part of something great. So.
What changes or growth have you seen in Dave Aranda over these last 2 years, like seeing as you've been gone?
Yeah, to me, he seems way more comfortable. Coaches himself like 100% of the time. And that's one of the things I love about him. And he's unique, but he's so sharp, he's so bright. But I would think just the comfort level in that position, right? It feels like so natural right now. I go into every staff meeting, man. I leave there with 2 or 3 pages of notes. There's not many that I've been around that I've been more impressed with. And he's that guy. Not just from a defensive perspective. I think from a team perspective. And I really believe he's doing an elite job right now.
Matt, is there anybody you'd like to mention as far as guys who stood out as leaders so far?
Yeah, I think in the front, I think TJ and Gabe are starting to take those reins up front. I think when you start talking about the backers, I think Matt Jones and Mike Smith has been extremely vocal these last 2 practices, and he's been helping a lot of the younger guys. That's been really cool to see. And then I think secondary wise, I think Devin Lemire, just his role right now, it's really cool to see him. Try to take those reins. And so those would be some guys defensively, I think, that stand out right now for sure.
What was the biggest thing for your growth when you went to the game?
Yeah, one, I think seeing it done a different way and getting those, and that's in a lot of realm, right? So maybe defensively, maybe team-wise, maybe recruiting-wise, and at a place that's done it at a high level, or for a staff with a lot of coaches that have done it at a high level. I think that experience, being able to bring in new ideas, being able to bring in maybe a different way to, I was going to say skin a cat, but I feel like that's an old coaching term that I don't even know if that makes sense to outside, to other people. But anyways, I would say that the experience that I gained from there, I couldn't replace. That was big time.
What are you seeing out of your room of the safety room?
Say that one more time, Jerry.
What are you seeing out of your safety room? That group?
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of the things that we've been emphasizing, I think the relentless effort piece, I think we've done a good job of attacking the ball. I think there's been guys that, not only understand what their job is, but they're starting to understand where their help is. And to me, that was a huge difference in 21 was, hey, understanding that, hey, I can play to my help, right? Hey, in coverage, this is where my help is. And run support, this is where my help is. And being extremely detailed in that category, I really feel like, as we've gotten practice 6, 7, 8, okay, we've become a little bit more details, especially in the foundation-based calls of our defense.
Getting to come back to Baylor, how special is that, and how much does this program mean?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, whether it's family members, whether it's recruits, whether it's, our players, this place is special. And you don't realize it, until you're immersed in it and you really feel it. There's not a place where you can get an elite education like here. You can grow in faith, obviously compete for championships. It's been done just about in every just about every program on campus. And so it's really, really cool from that standpoint. And then I think that just the community in Waco and the Baylor support system, whether that's alumni or, y'all, it's just been amazing. And I love it. So appreciate that question.
From your lens as a defensive
Yep.
coordinator, how have you seen the quarterbacks come along in that competition?
Man, it's been awesome to see. They give us their best every day. Just like most position groups, they're competing at a really high level right now. Blake threw a couple of balls on Saturday. I'm like, how did he fit that in there? And he's, I've seen his growth, his moxie, him growing as a leader. And then, Sawyer on the other side, man, I mean, holy moly. I mean, really good athlete. I mean, he's energetic. He's got this vibe about him. And so, yeah, it's been really cool to see, and they've been pushing us from a defensive standpoint.
AJ, what have you been learning from Coach Powledge, and what's he been stressing?
He's really been stressing technique and playing green, and if you mess up, it don't matter, just keep going. I really like Coach Powell because I feel like he brings confidence and energy into everybody, and it makes everybody want to play harder and go and put more effort into the things that we're doing on the field. So I think that's really one of the most big things.
You guys have
You were here whenever he was here in 21. I mean, have you seen any shift with Coach Powledge from when he was here in 21 to now? Have you seen any difference?
Nah, it's the exact same. Coach Powell, he ain't never changed. I like Coach Powell just because the energy he brings is unique, and he has all these different slogans and things that he says that you really don't hear too much. So it's really cool having him back.
How helpful is that when Ron Roberts leaves, bring in someone who everyone is sort of familiar with?
I think it's real helpful. I think it's real helpful because like I keep saying, the energy part of it, with Coach Roberts, he was real X and O's and he was real strict, but he never really had just that energy that he brought to the team. And with Coach Powell, the bar is just raised 10 times, Everybody's just, I feel like in meetings and stuff, everybody's more locked in, paying attention, and able to take it out to the field.
at safety. Do you feel like this is a big opportunity for a lot of you guys since, you had some veterans leave?
Yeah, for sure. Well, at safety, we kind of really had the same people. I mean, Devin Lemire, he's going to come back, and he did his thing last year. Me and Bryson, we working at Star right now. I'm thinking we're competing pretty good in that. But I don't think, honestly, I feel like we have a higher ceiling this year than we did last year for sure, just because of the people that are in the room. We want to compete, we want to win. We don't want to be mediocre.
You played more corner last year. I mean, has that adjustment to safety been going well for you?
Yeah, it's been going great. Actually, I feel more natural at safety because I feel more free. I'm a high energized dude, so I like running around and going to and getting to the ball. And I feel like at corner I was more restricted. This is your guy. This is who you got to be with. Don't have your eyes nowhere else. So I feel like I'm more open and more, free to play.
Like you said, kind of you, Devin, and Bryson all had experience, especially from last year. How does that carry over into this year and kind of lead you towards that higher ceiling that you talked about?
I think it leads us towards a higher ceiling because we have experience. So we played last year. We know how it feels on the field instead of this being our first year about to play and we're oh, this is the first time we out here. We don't really being hesitant. Having a year under your belt, I honestly feel like you can go out there and be more calm and be yourself, and you don't have to think as much. Yeah.
Is there a mentality kind of heading into this season to make that defensive backs group or the safeties group really rise above the rest of the Big 12?
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, everybody in the group, it don't matter who it is, we want to work and we want to get better. And I feel like in practice that we've been showing that we've been out there competing and striving to reach a higher ceiling than we did last year, for sure.
Well, you had a new spot, obviously. How's it going?
It's going well. It's a lot of just attention to detail and focus that goes into it, and couldn't be more proud to be with Coach Powledge. He's just been so detailed and intentional in meetings and every day. So, that keeps all the guys in there locked in, and, questions are always flying. He's able to answer them and apply them to film. And so just that preparation part and aspect to it, but the footwork, it's been different. So just, getting with the guys after practice and working on that. But it's been an adventure. It's been an experience, and I couldn't do it with a better group.
And what do you like about Coach Powledge?
I just love his enthusiasm. I love his intentionality. And when it comes to being a younger coach like that, that brings energy. And what happens with that is that gets everybody locked in, gets everybody focused. And he's able to relate to us a lot. So the things that go off script, like when we come home, when we get done with practice, we go up there and watch film with him. He's very relaxed, and he got the mood set for us so we can go in there and get that film in. And he's able to still be intentional after practice and having that focus. So we all love it, and we all are locked in whenever he's talking. Yep.
Bryson, was that a spot you felt like you could always play, or when did you get, I guess, more interested in that and playing that spot at start?
Yeah, so when I first came here back in 2017, I came in as a sandbacker. So it's a bigger personnel at that position. But, that was something I came in playing and worked at for my first 2 years. So it just kind of felt like home, and it was natural. And just being able to apply what I've learned at pass rushing and at playing jack, and being able to play wheel backer a little bit in some of the games previous, it just kind of helped me out and allowed me to, come to this position and apply all that to make up for that position. So I love it. Yeah.
We talked to you at the beginning of spring practice, and now we get you again. What's the difference do you think you've seen over the past, I guess, week and a half?
Just with the team? Yeah, really just, it's kind of been like, our whole thing has been pound the rock, and every day coming in, being intentional with how we prepare and how we just go out there and practice. So protecting the team, and that's just, at practice, being pros, and that's keeping guys up, practicing body position, being able to play fast and violent without, hurting each other, and being able to be intentional. So I think that the team has, became pros at that. And it's really unique. It's really cool to see, because you got a bunch of guys flying around full speed to practice. And then, people are staying up off the ground. People are being intentional with their assignment. And that's just what we want to be. We want to be an a fast, violent, and assignment-based defense. And offensively, that's exactly what we want to be as well. So to be an offense, to be a team that go out there and just, not having penalties, and being able to have O-linemen having tight hands, receivers being able to have tight hands, quick feet on routes, man, those are things that are what we want to be as a team. So I give kudos to all the guys, because they take every day serious, and practice has been really intentional, so has meetings.
Is there anybody that's really stood out to you, do you think, at least, I guess, as an upperclassman, just kind of in practice to this point?
Definitely Blake, definitely Drake Dabney offensively. Gavin Yates has been in there, Clark on O-line. Running backs wise, all those guys, so Dom that just came in, and Quaylen, and Bryson, the little freshman, like everybody's been intentional, Richard Reese. So like offensively, those guys have been locked in and been really, really focused. Defensively, TJ and Gabe, they're getting to the quarterback, and then they're breaking out the stacks, running full speed. So, we got like GPS, and like seeing those guys run 20 miles per hour at practice, man, that's elite. So just seeing those guys like that take charge. And then we got Mike Smith that just came in as linebacker. And, man, I tell you, like, he's out there talking, keeping guys' heads up. Like, that's the positivity. That's what we want on the defense. And I think that's what's going to keep us and give us our edge in the season.
What's the biggest difference you've seen in Blake?
And Blake, just the confidence and the courage, man. He comes out to practice. He's focused. He's locked in. And he's keeping everybody else around him up. And that's what we need on offense. And just seeing that confidence in him was something that, he was working on last year to improve on. So definitely the confidence piece, the intentionality piece. He's always been elite on that, but he's definitely stepped his game up on that and being able to bring guys up with him.
You touched on Mike Smith. You know, Dave said that some of those transfers have kind of come in, hit the ground running, and stepped up as leaders. Are you kind of seeing that a little bit too?
Absolutely, yeah. So like I said, like he's out there talking and he's out there completely buying in. And what's cool is we have like call-ups and put-ups at the end of practice. And, you know, those, like he's one of the guys that's been up there multiple times. So, you know, that's just from, you know, coaches watching him and the other players are watching him. And it's something that's came up in meetings. But, you know, you got these guys that are coming in, Carl, Isaiah Dunson, corners, man, they're all talking, communicating, and upholding the standard, man. So that's part of being a team, man. And we need that. And that's been our culture so far. So it's awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.